you have probably heard about the growing crime of identity theft, but you probably had no idea that criminals are targeting the youngest of victims. Tonight, what you need to know to protect your child's born identity. 13-month-old Elliott Mason keeps his parents on their toes.
Right now, the biggest thing you have to worry about is chasing her around all day.
Be a soccer star. But with all the normal challenges that new parents face, the Masons never imagined there could be one more.
No, so there's something else that you have to worry about.
Because even though little Elliott has just learned to walk, even though he's never bought a thing in his life, he could become a victim of the nation's fastest growing crime.
Absolutely anyone can be a victim, from a child to a celebrity.
In fact, innocent children make the perfect victims when it comes to identity theft.
What the identity thieves are looking for is a Social Security number that's a blank slate, that has no adverse credit attached to it.
I've heard of people stealing Social Security numbers out of your garbage or things like that, but I hadn't heard of people taking kids' Social Security numbers to do anything with them. I mean, how would they get it?
That's exactly what we wanted to know, and here's what we found out. Sometimes the thieves will get the number from some paperwork, exactly the same way they steal an adult's identity. Other times, they will simply make up a number out of thin air. They will apply for credit online. They will just make up a number, and they might try it hundreds, even dozens of times, till they eventually hit on one that works. And when they do, they've hit the jackpot.
And then when they find one that works, they know they can use it in a larger fraud scheme.
Consider the case of Ronald Stephen Williams, now serving 6 years in prison for using multiple Social Security numbers and identities to defraud creditors of hundreds of thousands of dollars. U.S. Attorney Rod Rosenstein says, like many identity thieves, Williams was a professional.
That's right. Mr. Williams was found guilty of a scheme that lasted over 5 years.
Williams is seen here in surveillance video from the U.S. Postal Inspection Service obtained by Fox 45. He's outside of the house in Severn that Williams bought in 2001 using a fake name and a Social Security number assigned to a child. Then in 2004, again using the fake identity, he sold the house to himself, obtaining a $265,000 mortgage and using a Social Security number that didn't belong to anyone at the time, but was later assigned to a newborn baby, a child with bad credit, before he was even born.
When the children tried to use those numbers, if it had come to that, they would have found that their credit already had been ruined.
Williams didn't stop there. He used several other identities to rack up tens of thousands of dollars in other bills, even to create businesses and open bank accounts.
Wow, that's amazing.
Tim and Tracy Mason have no reason to believe that anyone has tried to steal little Elliott's identity, but our story is enough to make them worry about protecting his good credit.
He could be in college and applying for his first credit card and be turned down because his identity was stolen 20 years ago, you know?
So what can you do? Obviously, guard your child's Social Security number. Take action if you're notified that your child has a delinquent account. Don't just assume it's a mistake. Be suspicious if you start getting credit card offers in your child's name. And consider checking your child's credit report every year, just as you would your own. Now, there are even businesses offering to help protect your family.
I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to give you my real Social Security number right now. It's 457-55-5462 for Todd Davis, CEO of LifeLock.
For $10 a month, LifeLock promises to prevent identity theft and backs up that promise with a $1 million guarantee. The company will place fraud alerts with the major credit reporting companies to keep any new accounts from being opened. That's something you can do on your own, but those alerts expire after 90 days. LifeLock will make sure they're renewed.
Even if someone has your personal information, they can't do anything with it because you're going to get a phone call before any new accounts opened or any major changes are made to your credit report or credit history.
The Masons know they will be a lot more vigilant.
You know, they say it'll never happen to you. And you just never know, because eventually it does happen to somebody, and that somebody just might be you.
Because with so much already,
Get your knees.
the last thing they want to worry about is restoring their child's good name.
Now, as for checking your child's credit report, there are actually some conflicting opinions out there. Theoretically, your child shouldn't have a credit report, and some experts argue that the very act of asking for a report could actually cause one of the agencies to create one, which could raise some red flags later on. Now, we talked directly to the people at TransUnion about this. That's one of the major reporting companies. They've actually set up a special email specifically for questions related to child identity theft. That email address is childidtheft@transunion.com. Again, childidtheft@transunion.com.
Coming up next.